This is it. The second clash of the Titans 450-ish. And this time, Kentucky felt the thunder.
This guy ain't even a stick shift racer, and he said, line that shit back up. Put that on camera.
Nitrous Outlet teamed up with US 60 Dragway and Bodie's Grudge Bowl to bring the heat. The fastest, the boldest, the baddest rolled in to settle one question. Who really runs 450-ish? The crowd, electric. The racers, relentless. And the action, straight up wild. This wasn't just a race. It was a statement. And trust us, if you miss this one, you better be ready for the next. Nitrous Outlet. We don't just bring the power, we are the power.
You gotta give us a what's up, Kyle.
What's up?
All right, now how do you say your last name? It's Cullen?
Cullen, yes.
Yes.
Kyle Cullen.
Kyle Cullen. All right, so Kyle, this is Cliff. Of course, we kind of pre-met each other. Aaron, I'm sorry. Will you tell her we're doing a podcast? My daughter keeps calling over and over and over.
Oh, you're fine.
So,
I should probably turn my ringer off for right now because I'm sure I'll start getting called.
So, well, welcome to episode 22. And, you are our first power sports guy.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm honored to be here.
that's pretty cool. Last week we had a drag boat. No, we had
the fight winner, right?
No.
Last
Going live tomorrow, so we filmed it last week. Is David and oh my gosh, Nick Dill. They do drag and drive. I'm gonna get my shit together in a minute. Yeah. Okay. So they do drag and drive, and they broke like 4 records in the last drag and drive, and then before that was drag boats. So we got a nice mix of stuff going on here, not just regular drag racing stuff. So, all right. So Kyle, tell us about yourself. I'm
a off-road content creator. We do a lot of ATV, side-by-side, mix of mud, trail, kind of vlog style videos. We got a decent sized YouTube following and Instagram following. A lot of it follows behind Can-Am products like their X3s or Renegades or Outlanders. And we kind of just adventure around and we create a video every week of different things that we're doing kind of on the weekend. And it could vary from mud riding to some crazy idea we came up with 2 days before that we decided to film. And usually it's a handful of buddies that come in and get to have a lot of fun. And then afterwards get to watch 15-20 minute video of us of a recap of whatever crazy event we got to do. And we've been doing this about, hold on. Told you I was going to get calls. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So you've been doing it for how long?
So this has been going on for about 5 years now. We've been doing the YouTube channel, and we've just pushing up on 350,000 subs on YouTube. And it's been a pretty awesome adventure. We've got to meet a lot of really cool people. Holy crap. Sorry. Got to meet a lot of really cool people and got to go a lot of cool places and do some pretty wild stuff. So it's been a great journey and really enjoyed doing it.
I was watching one of your videos earlier, and in the diesel world, they call this ghetto fogging. Mm-hmm. Where you were intentionally trying to blow up a four-wheeler.
I literally just carried the motor out of the shop when I was cleaning up about an hour ago. And I've shown the picture of the piston rods and jug kind of compilation all in my hands in one shot. And people are like, how did you do that on a stock motor? Like, well, you see here, I got this stuff right there. It's called Nitrous. And,
it lasted longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, and that motor was already on its way out. So obviously this would be very taboo for a lot of race cars, but for us, we typically end up sinking our machines completely submerged underwater mud. You're getting pretty dicey when you're trying to play around a 5 foot of water and the machine's only 4 foot tall.
Right.
And so that machine had been sunk 8-9 times and washed out the bearings from the bottom end, and the crank bearings were totally gone. And so this thing would start and run for a little bit, but once they get warm and once his bearings heat up, the crank just wasn't wanting to rotate anymore. And so we know it's time for that motor to be removed and replaced. So we figured we might as well let it go out with a bang. And I was really, really hoping to blow a hole through the side of the block, but that just didn't happen. Unfortunately, I figured a ghetto fog if Nitrous would have done it, but not quite. But we were able to bend the rods. Crank was totally gone, cracked the piston and cracked the jug, which on a stock bore is, as people have been telling me, rather impressive to do. So
really,
I was wondering what gave out first.
Leave it to me.
I honestly don't know, because it's still kind of almost wanted to start after what you probably saw in that video was us doing it once. We did it 3 times.
I seen y'all cool it back off, and then you pulled the oil dipstick off, and it was pushing all the liquid out of the crankcase.
Fill the bottom end with water. We were trying to cool it down a little bit.
Yeah, I did. Oh, so you were trying to cool it off by filling it full of water. I missed that part. I was trying to multitask.
So, liquid cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Radiator. We did it with a garden hose.
So I noticed, looking over your content, that you do a mix of side-by-sides, four-wheelers. I seen you on a dirt bike in one. Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite?
The side-by-side adventures are probably the most interesting but hard to capture on video. I think they take us to the coolest places and we meet the coolest people with it. But it's hard to beat 120 horsepower between your legs just with 3-inch knobby tires just ripping through some mud.
Right.
With skimming water or just waist deep mud holes or just going through stuff you really should not, you have no business trying to go through and seeing if you can make it just for the pure love of the game. So, I mean, the ATVs have always had my heart since I was little, and now I've kind of been able to make it into a job, creating content around it. And it's kind of just been the opportunity to give myself an excuse to go ride every week.
So do you do any competitions or strictly just ripping it to have fun?
We'll jump in for some bounty races here and there. And I'll be honest with you, since we are trying to make video content, it's hard to go to an event strictly for a competition because you're doing the same thing or filming other people do the same thing. And the way we create our content is very storyline based. So we'll jump in and do a few bounty hole races here and there, maybe 2 a season, which we always enjoy doing and watching our friends do it and just be involved with that. But as far as the content creation side, we don't necessarily make content about it. Just trying to keep an engaging storyline of, not doing necessarily the same thing every week.
Right. I tried to do my own little YouTube, and my son was editing it, and he said it was the most boring thing he's ever done his entire life.
And that's the hard thing when you are editing these videos. We'll come out of 10 hours of content and compress it all the way down into 15 minutes. Maybe not every week. Some weeks maybe are 3 or 4 hours of content, but everything, you got to figure we're cutting out every single little dead spot of something that's boring. Unless somebody's talking and doing something really interesting, we're cutting all that out. And it really can be challenging. People don't realize what all goes into editing a YouTube video to keep really somebody's attention for 15 to 20 minutes.
Right.
So,
yeah, keeping them there for 15, 20 minutes is a challenge.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, all right. So right behind you is a Can-Am, right?
Correct, yes.
And what size is it?
2022 Can-Am 1000 XMR. I also have a twin to it, a 2023 Can-Am XMR, but that's not here at the house right now.
Okay.
But set up on Nitrous.
Mud racer.
So is it safe to say that you're a Can-Am fan out of all the other brands?
Oh, yeah. As we were talking earlier, just recently this year, we picked up an ambassadorship with Can-Am. So after 5 years of kind of doing content strictly kind of based around, say 80% of our content was based around Can-Am products, got in touch with the right people and got involved with them and picked up an ambassadorship. So now they basically give me a fun list of places they want me to go and be involved with the community going to. And we get to go do some cool adventures for Can-Am as well as, other ambassadors that Can-Am represents.
Well, that's cool. So you're an official face of Can-Am, basically.
Yes, I am.
That means you've done an exceptional job and caught their attention, right?
Yeah, that's a huge deal. They don't hand those out to anybody.
No.
You got to be somebody worth putting out there, and for Can-Am to do it, that's a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
I appreciate that.
So,
and even go ahead.
No, you first.
I was going to say, even the cooler part is like starting to make some of the friendships with some of the other ambassadors prior to us getting a ambassadorship with them. And then now having an ambassadorship with Can-Am, and it's just led to these other cool connections of people you would never think you'd be able to meet, but now you get to go hang out and do fun stuff with. So that's been awesome.
I bet that has. Now, the side-by-side, it's also a Can-Am then, right?
Correct. Yes. We've got a Can-Am Maverick X3.
And
as well.
What is that?
So that is their kind of dune buggy side-by-side. Whether you want to go hill climbing or ripping through the dunes at 80 miles an hour or take it into the mud, it'll do it all.
Okay.
That is a 220 horsepower turboed 1000 cc 3-cylinder motor, and just the most wild suspension setup you've probably ever seen. It looks like a spider when it's crawling over, or like when you're flying over the dunes or whoops, it just looks like a spider walking on top. And it's a pretty interesting machine. And if you ever get the chance to ride in one, definitely take it.
I'm going to have to. You know, we did a Nitrous install on it was before all the turbo
Polaris, wasn't
came out. It was a Polaris.
Yeah.
And it was for the guys that own Streetcar Takeover, Chase and Justin.
Okay.
And we were at some event, and I said, dude, I want to spray that in there. Take it with you. So I'd never worked on one. We ended up doing a tuner and a clutch. And of course, it's an all-wheel drive type vehicle. And that thing was ripping wheelies out in the parking lot. I had a blast. And it made me want one until I looked at the price range of them.
Yeah, they're a little pricey, but for something right out of the gate that can just do so many awesome things, figure you're kind of in the 20 to 30 price range for one of those out of the box. But for something you can jump, drift, rip dunes, rip whoops, hill climbs, casual trail ride if you want to do that. I mean, comfortable. It's a do-all machine that you can buy right out of the box and go play with.
Looks like a blast. You know, the thing with drag racing too is there's so much work involved. And in the case of doing some side-by-side stuff, you literally just show up and go have fun, right?
Yeah, until you got to wash it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you remember, Dave, I came here from a power sports dealership. I actually got to do a few races in one of the Turbo X3s. And so I can relate to what he's saying. It's a blast. You'd love it. You'd absolutely love it.
Does it pull some G-forces?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you think, well, 220 horsepower, big deal. Yeah. But the thing weighs, what, 1,000 pounds?
1,700 pounds.
Yeah, 1,700 pounds and
should move it.
Nothing. And it's just, of course, you're doing it out through the trees. I mean, you've ridden some trails on bikes, so you kind of understand that. But when you're doing that, going on terrain that you're not used to going that fast through, it makes a big difference. And then you start to feel it out and you get used to it. And then it's just, oh my gosh, I can't describe how much fun it is.
I've had some opportunities to go. And so my wife raced RTRA, which is cross country dirt bike stuff. Right. And so, I used to ride motocross, not professionally, just for fun, tracks. And my wife hates motocross tracks. So she just wants to go out and trail ride and, rock climb, like all the stuff you would do out, in creek beds and stuff. That's what she likes to do. So that's all we've done the last few years. But I think I would like to adventure a little bit further past that.
Well, here's the thing with a side-by-side. You can bring the cooler, you can bring the music. You can bring your buddy or your wife or somebody ride passenger. She's probably going to tell you she's getting her own. You can get one. Yeah,
she's very aggressive.
You can bring the tire foam when the tire goes flat and air it up. Get back to the camp.
Yep. You can go do all those things all day long and then go to work the next day, not be sore and feel like you just fell down the mountain. And, that's probably the coolest part about it is not feeling like you rode a dirt bike for 10 hours and your body hates you for the next week. You get out of it and you went and saw some really cool things, did some really awesome stuff, and don't feel like you just got hit by a truck.
Right. Now, what about snowmobiling? Have you done any of that?
Never. I've done it one time, and we just recently were up in Canada filming with the new machines that'll get released by Can-Am for next year. And one of the guys up there that owned the place that we were filming at, we were talking about snowmobiles. He's like, in the wintertime, here's my number. Come up. we'll take you to some awesome places to come ride. And I'm like, I am definitely taking you up on that opportunity because that is something that's been on the bucket list for a while.
So did you take them up on it, or you're going to take them up?
Oh, well, this will be this winter. So I was just in Canada last May, so a month ago.
Dude, it's a blast. Like for one, I'm a sucker for snow because we're down here in Texas and we don't get a whole lot of it. And what's great about visiting it is you get to leave it. And so, right. So, but there's something about being up in the mountains in a very quiet area and having white everywhere and being able to rip snowmobiles through there. It's a blast.
Just wide open on the two strokes. Just,
yeah. Until you have to dig it out of a drift and then you realize how far out of shape you are.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, you definitely got to give that a try.
I'm enjoying the lane that we're kind of in with the ATVs and the places we're going, but it's been awesome to do what we're doing with this and kind of fall into the other power sports industries and, get introduced to other people in their kind of niche market and get involved with it and do a little bit there and kind of venture around. So I feel like this is mainly what we do, but it's allowed us to get involved with a lot more and kind of bring the camera along and bring the audience along and introduce them to a lot of other things. We're slowly starting to dive into, got a older Silverado. We're going to probably do a turbo setup and some nitrous and maybe do some burnout contests and just, as silly as it is, just having something to drift around and rip around and just have an old farm truck that's just quick as crap. You roll up to and fully intend on leaving it looking like a farm truck because I bought it out of a barn that had been sitting there for 10, 15 years and fully intend on just leaving it all janky looking and rolling up on people and just kind of having that sleeper build of somebody in their hopped up muscle car thinking they're, quick because they got some bolt-ons and just all-wheel drive just taking off right past them. And
then if they don't outrun them, you can unload your four-wheeler. Right?
I'll pass it. I'll be ripping through the ditch line, still passing.
Right. I've enjoyed watching some of the videos. So the power sports, this is what's really cool about what's going on. We're redoing our power sports product line right now.
Okay.
So it's forcing me to study it a little bit more because whenever we introduced our power sports product line, it was probably 20 years ago, and Mike Go Lightly laid it out for us, and he was probably in his 70s at the time. So times have changed, and our product line has not. So the parts have, but like to give you an example, what we came to realize is that on our website currently, you couldn't order an EFI wet system for like a side-by-side without having to pay for a fuel pump you didn't need. So something that simple. So I've been working, actually that's what I've worked on all day today was laying out the new product line. And I think I want to start playing over in some power sports. I kind of need a break from the car stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's a pretty big change. We've had some pretty funny reactions to people seeing this and seeing the nitrous bottle and just going, oh, that's just for show. And then I flip on the switch and hit the purge and like, wait, what? Like, that's for real? I'm like, oh, yeah. So just, in the racing side of things, there's a lot of people that are running nitrous, but just your everyday Joe is very uncommon. So the looks we get at the gas station when you're fueling up, heading to go ride or comical, or even at the park, there's a lot of, at some of the events we go to, there's a lot of people that don't know anything about it, but they know who we are from the videos they watch. And they're just like, really, nitrous? Like, oh, yeah. And then you just see, something about taking 1,000-pound machine and just skimming across 5-6 foot water for 150 feet and just staying on top is pretty, if you've never seen it before, definitely something to experience.
That's wild.
And yeah, it's crazy.
Get some people that give us some looks from it. But
now, is that
make it to that next level? What's the next step? And nitrous is it for us.
Right now, what the foiler right behind you, is it a dry system or a wet system? Like, how's it set up?
So we are. Some people do just spray right into the intake or into the air box. Mm-hmm. For us, we are spraying right into our intake tubes. We're tuned for it, so we have a Dynajet kind of tuner. So whenever I turn on my nitrous switch, it's kind of running off of that computer system, so that when I'm full throttle or wide open and I spray, it's direct injection into the intake.
Okay, so it adds its extra fuel through the tuner.
What was that?
It adds its extra fuel through the tuner. Okay, and that's kind of where everything's going nowadays. So, right over here you can't see it because of where we're sitting, but I actually have a Hayabusa sitting there, and I keep going back and forth. It's never been started. I keep going back and forth between just having fun with it or not. But they're all using tuners as well.
I got a
No
delivery
problem.
truck. I have a delivery truck that just pulled up to the shop. I'm getting the other real quick. All right, sorry about that.
No problem. All right, so the mud bogging, how's that? Is it what's your favorite thing to do? Is it trail riding or is it shooting down through the mud? I've seen the drags where they're mud racing and
Yeah, so it's finding something. It's a mix. It's a mix of all of it. It's trail riding out to somewhere you've never been, finding some nasty big mud hole that you have no business in going through, and then just looking at it and go, I'm going to try that. And people around you are like, you're not actually doing that. Like, no, seriously. It's, I guess it's a little bit of craziness going on in my head, but it's like, we got to try this. Like nobody else, it looks like nobody's tried this. And there's no reason that I can't spray a little nitrous and come in at 45, 50 miles an hour and try to skim across this little pond section or mud bog section, see how far we can make it. And worst case scenario, we got usually 5 to 10 guys with us and enough rope and winches to probably get the machine out. And, that's kind of where we capture the best content from is people just seeing us try things that we probably shouldn't do. And because of that, we break a lot of axles and blow a lot of belts and diffs and all of that in between. But it creates for the cool adventure and the cool storyline of, going some neat places and doing some pretty cool stuff. And so to answer your question, I would say the mud bog, just going in, the mud holes that are probably not doable is my favorite part. I enjoy getting stuck, as silly as that sounds. I enjoy that part because that means I found something I shouldn't be in.
Yeah, and then the work comes in to get it out, right?
Yeah. No.
So I had asked, after you get stuck, do you think, oh, well, if I just done this, maybe I make it through, and do you line it up and try it again?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's one of those hold my beer and watch this moments.
It's a little more calculated than that, but it's an absolute. Yeah, I think if I do this a little different, and there's a lot of people. You get a lot of people out there that do kind of have more recreational side of, they're out there to drink and have a good time, and I'm kind of more just business when I'm riding. I don't drink when I go ride, and I'm more doing it for putting on the show for the camera. But not really at the same point. I'm not trying to show, I'm not trying to come out and just be a show. I'm just literally having a camera follow me around as I do stuff that I would do whether there's a camera on me or not.
Right.
It's just kind of the challenge of seeing if you can make it. And just, I guess there is a competitive side of it, but I'm competing at my own game versus playing at a prefabricated race per se, like a bounty race where everybody has to hit this line with this exact same setup and things are kind of more dialed in. So
it's more of challenging yourself to
exactly
to get past the hurdle.
Well, yeah. I mean, the theme, it seems like it's not just the location, it's the adventure, it's the pushing yourself.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie with your buddies. You got to figure we get to go to these places and have all our buddies with us and hang out and talk and share stories with each other, but then at the same time we're doing something cool. So no hate at all on kind of car meet culture, but you have those guys that go to a car show, they all sit around and they look at each other's cars and it's like, okay, these are all really cool. Well, we all get to go to these events. We all get to check out each other's machines that are really cool setups that everybody has, and then it's like, okay, let's go challenge each other and go see who can make it. And get to actually use our machines versus kind of just hanging out, and you're always kind of doing something. So we were talking earlier in the beginning before we started the podcast, just kind of sitting there fidgeting, like having something to play with your hands. You can't sit still. It's like, I couldn't imagine going to a car show all day and I got to sit still and just talk to people. Like, we get to go ride and have fun and do stuff.
Do that. No, I'm right there.
That's why I love what we do with it.
Yeah, that's like when we have our car show here, you have to have a burnout contest.
Yeah, you gotta have some type of energy.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You can't just sit there. You gotta have to do something, some sort of contest.
No doubt. Nothing against my Corvette Club guys, but I'm not going to sit there and look at my stock
in your jean shorts and New Balance and just sit there all day. You
can't do it.
You gotta get them dirty.
Yeah, we got to beat on it. So
you might have a little kick out if you get some time after. Click back a few videos of the thumbnails of Corvette. One of the guys that films with us a lot bought one and went to a car show, and he full on fit the cliche of Corvette owner.
Oh yeah,
video. It's a pretty funny skit, part of the video, and it's funny to see.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Oh yeah.
Go back and put a nitrous bottle in there, and then let them all tell you how you're going to tear up the vet. That's great. So,
our ongoing joke, we were like, this Corvette is one of this VIN number.
Right.
They only made this color yellow on one Friday that year.
We all, when we would do our car show here, we haven't done it since COVID. It was an open house, and it's more of a hot rod show. It's mostly drag cars and fast street cars and stuff. And I remember putting out an advertisement that said, we don't care about your stock numbers matching so-and-so Corvette. Leave it at home, you know, bring it with the rubber on it, bring it with this is what we're after. And it was a hit. It was a hit. And as a matter of fact, we haven't done it in like 3 years, and people still go, when are y'all going to do that again?
Do it again. I encourage you to do it. Everybody's always looking for an event, and you guys have such a cool name and shop and stuff. It's somewhere that people want to visit and show off their unique builds. And if you're kind of keeping that criteria of, we don't want to see your daily driver, we want to see your unique, funny builds or wild things like this that people would slap nitrous on that you just wouldn't expect, but somebody's having fun with it. I mean, that's definitely a pretty cool car show. I can absolutely see why people want you to host another one.
Yeah, you get a big mix of everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't piss off the neighborhood next to you, I mean, is it really fun? I mean, did you bring something cool if you didn't piss off the neighbors?
Hey, it was bad enough that the city chief came to us after the last show and said, hey, next year, can you give us heads up? Can you give us heads up you're doing this? And I'm like, no, because then you're just going to pull them over.
Yeah, we know where they sit.
Right. So.
And everybody a flyer as they're leaving. Okay, this is where all the cops sit.
Right. Now we're in luck. We've been here in Waco for 25 years now, and so we have a really good relationship, believe it or not, with the local city officials. So,
that's awesome.
Like I called the fire chief or sent him an email yesterday because we started stocking race gas. And it went from having a couple of things for drag cars to remote control cars to 4-cylinder bikes, 2-cylinder. It started not 2-stroke and 4-stroke bikes. All the fuels, we started adding all this stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I wonder what the rules are. And so I started looking at getting a Connex to put more to stock fuel, because it's not a very profitable thing, but it does help the walk-in for our flow supply product line. And he came by and paid me a visit yesterday, and he said, yeah, this ain't going to work. We'll talk Monday. I'm like, uh-oh. I done brought attention to ourselves. So, but yeah, it is kind of cool because like the lady that just came in, she drove here from New Mexico to get MR12 fuel. And we were talking about this prior to the podcast here before we got started, but they're running, and I've never heard of this, supercharged BMW bikes and racing those. And
we still don't know where.
No, I should have asked.
We need to research
I'll have to do
that.
some research about that after.
Yeah, I was just thinking, why didn't you
Google that?
Isn't San Antonio closest to New Mexico? No? Okay, because VP Fuel is out of San Antonio, so I'm thinking, why don't you just go there?
Yeah.
Supercharged BMW bikes. I'm thinking it's either like an open road or like a land speed thing, being that far out west that they may find, that the dry lakes or salt flat or something like that, or like a standing mile thing.
Yeah, maybe
where they're trying to get top speed.
I'll have to research that.
Yeah.
So let's flip the script here. Do you have some questions for us?
One that comes to mind, what's the wildest thing you guys seen a nitrous setup installed on?
Oh gosh. So I did I helped a buddy of mine this isn't the wildest, but it's kind of the funniest. I helped a buddy of mine in a game warden Nitrous power, a gas powered kayak. It's obviously not the wildest, but it was probably one of the wait, we're doing what? So that was kind of fun. Back in the day, remember the little tiny pocket bikes when they first came out?
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually designed a dry system for one of those, even though they were carbureted, right? And you would just jet it up a little bit to run rich. And the bike made like almost 2 horsepower. I had a chassis dyno, and we're like sitting there trying to put it on a chassis dyno. And we doubled it. And I would go to the car meets around here and just let people ride it. And a buddy of mine worked for a competitor Nitrous company, and actually gave it to them after we used the crap out of it forever. And it's kind of funny because that picture popped up in my memories yesterday. Now that was fun. That was it. We were sending those all over the world, those little tiny dry kits, because like I wish I could retain all this, but it was like different parts where those bikes were really popular, and the kit was on like a couple $100, so it was, you would just send like 10 or 15 of them to this place all the time, little pocket bike shops.
That's funny. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's see. I've sprayed my Harley. I had a Road King, put nitrous on it.
What about like Jesse Jewett's Nasrod? Like that's a pretty wild build.
The burnout. So Jesse Jewett's another YouTuber, and he does burnout competitions, and he's got some pretty wild builds. And then over the years, of course, we've seen everything from power sports, snowmobiles. I remember the snowmobile first started doing the I don't know, it's like a flat track. There's no snow. Drag racing.
Okay. I was just getting ready to ask you that question. I was going to say, how are they spraying when it's so cold? But I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so they started doing that drag racing, and
they run them like Brainerd on the drag strip. Yeah, they have a snowmobile class.
Those things are moving.
Motorcycle class.
I have a buddy that was part of our racing group. His name is Brad Noyes, and he's up north, and he still has all of his race cars. He don't even pull them out. All he does is race snowmobiles now, and he's having a blast.
Wow. They're quick too. I've seen some videos. They are wild. It looks like the video is sped up, and they're not. They're and I can imagine just holding on to that thing, not something that you're harnessed in, just
right.
Top speed is 100 and something miles an hour. I guess it's the same vibe as being on a leader bike, but just absolutely wild.
My funnest thing though, just ripping it, was the side by side. I mean, literally, it's like. So I grew up where we had do you remember the Honda Odysseys?
Yeah.
All right. So I grew up with the Honda Odyssey, right?
Before it was a minivan?
Well, no, yeah. So they were basically miniature side-by-sides before side-by-sides ever existed. It was a go-kart on steroids.
Yeah.
And those things were a blast. So the first time I got to get into a side-by-side and rip it, I was like, oh, yeah, I like this. I think that was probably my funnest, because it was also, I like to do things that are out of the normal, so I'm learning. And that was a learning curve for me, all the way from understanding how the clutch worked and why you had to change the clutch, and the programmer. It was all areas that I knew nothing about. So that was the.
So you're saying that's pre-turbo. That was probably 2015-ish era.
Yeah, it was like it was the 900 or whatever they were before. Yep. Maybe it was 1,000. I don't remember. We still have a video of it on our YouTube page, actually. And so
you'll definitely be in for a treat if you get yourself behind the wheel of something even newer than 2020. I would say 2018, 2019 is where they really kind of made that next step to the next big improvement. And then just recently kind of Polaris and Can-Am and both made that next big step up. The machines are wild. They're like I always compare them. I tell people, like, it's as quick as a Corvette, but like way more agile than a Jeep. Like, just compare them together. Like, you can go hit a speed bump. It's like a trophy truck basically that anybody can buy.
Right.
It's probably the best way to explain it. And it's so much fun.
At a tenth of the cost of a trophy truck.
And like I said, the community's been awesome with it. The people are pretty great. Things you can go do with it. I mean, this machine has been all up and down the East Coast. It's been out, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama. We took it up to Minnesota last winter and took it on the ice. We actually there's still studs in these tires that I can't get out because we wore them riding on the asphalt. We were riding wheelies across on the. Unfortunately, we weren't spraying nitrous. It was a little too cold to make bottle pressure. So it's definitely taken us a lot of cool places.
Generally, are you hitting up like ATV parks or like?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Do you do any of the rednecks and paychecks and stuff like that?
No, we do. We go to Sabine for Mud Nationals every year with Can-Am. Done that for the last 3 years. Rednecks with paychecks, I'm sure you kind of know what goes on there. And it's a little bit past the content we can post on YouTube. So,
I've never been there, and I'm not going to go because my wife would probably kill me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a little bit more just drunk rednecky.
It's a party.
It's a little further than I really care to surround myself with. It's just.
It sounds like you're perfectly in
more
line
party,
with how I
less
stand.
adventure. Does that make sense?
Yep. I get it. So, all right. So, anything you want to cover before we jump off here?
No, I look forward to shooting you over some cool videos of some more adventurous stuff that we do, and maybe the next Nitrous installs either on the side-by-side or that Silverado truck, and see what we can entertain the internet with on that.
What if we did a video where we sent you a system to install it on something, and you kind of did I know it has to be quick to keep viewer discretion or whatever you want to attendance, right? But what if you did a install and kind of just went through the, hey, this is how you do this, and this is what we do with it?
Yeah, we've got a friend of ours down in Florida that's built with my Nitrous bikes. He does a lot of builds, dyno tests, everything. And honestly, I'd really like to introduce you two together because you're talking about kind of revamping your motorsports side of the site, and he's a wizard with it. He knows all the bits and pieces he needs to piece together to make a whole system for these, where that could be a good conversation for taking what he already orders and putting it together for a kit for. There's a lot of people with the Renegades. There's a lot of people with the Outlanders or the side-by-sides that are just, if there was a plug-and-play kit that you knew you could just order this thing and you got everything you needed, I could see being a popular seller.
Absolutely. And we would be all for doing that.
Maybe we set something up like that, ship one out and collaborate with them and do an installation video and, kind of the little ins and outs and benefits of it and why you may or may not want to do it. Obviously, if you're not trying to have fun, that's why you're not trying to do it. But
yeah, let's do that.
Fast, have a good time.
I'm all game for that. I'll shoot you a message or a text after the podcast here, and we'll get that moving. So,
all right.
When's your next ambassador appearance?
What was that?
When's your next?
We are doing an event at the end of July. And then after that, August will be the debut of the new units for Can-Am in Boston. And then the phone for that, I was told it's in Indiana at a place called Badlands. So lastly, for the event, the next 3 big events we got going up, we have Lake Fest at one of the local parks. And that will be, we'll have the Nitrous bikes out there and the side-by-sides. That's more of a mud bog. Mid-August, we have the debut of the new 2026 Can-Am units that we filmed for back a few months ago, and they're releasing those in August. So I'm excited about that because we already have content filmed for that nobody has seen yet. So that'll be exciting to be able to release that to the public once they unveil the new units. It's the equivalent of Ford coming out with a new truck. We've already got to product test them and demo them, so that's pretty exciting. And then following that, we've got another trip up in Indiana. To actually an off-road race, similar to like a Baja race in Indiana at a place called Badlands. So excited about that, and we'll be heading up there soon and probably start a road trip from that because that'll be our excuse to start heading north, and then we'll probably head up to Canada and go see some other content creators that we've done some videos with.
That'll be cool. That'll be real cool. Now, where can people find your content?
Instagram, YouTube are our two biggest platforms, just Kyle Cullen. Or we are on TikTok, but something about the content we share, something about nitrous and four-wheelers usually gets us banned on TikTok, so we don't post too much on there.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
TikTok doesn't like that fun stuff. They only like the boring people just singing and dancing.
Right. We tried to do a TikTok store and they kicked us off
Yeah.
after all
I
the
believe
work.
it.
Like it was a lot of work. And then they said, So
My last strike the other day was doing donuts in my dually. It got me kicked off again for another 3-day suspension. So
really? That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't TikTok. My wife does though.
My wife loves
Yeah.
TikTok. Like she's always like, you need to show your marketing team this. This is what they need to be doing. And none of us watch TikTok. Aaron, do you watch TikTok? Okay, Aaron does.
Oh, yeah. He's young enough.
All right, I'll start giving her your phone number.
there you go.
So
But I will be honest, TikTok's probably one of the best ways to get that engagement with that younger audience. People always want to put a name to a face with a company. And what I recommend for TikToks is just kind of the everyday day in the life, just short clips of you guys interacting. And it can just be whether you have a funny relationship with some of the guys in the shop, or just seeing what they're up to, or goofing around, or just people want to feel like they know somebody at a company. And that's who they always, if you feel like you know somebody at the company, that's the company you're going to shop with. And I've seen TikTok do great things for businesses by being able to put a real good face to the company name, and people feel like they're buddies with so-and-so from this company, and that's who they're going to shop with. So as far as beneficial side of TikTok is where I recommend something like that.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Is really being able to, and that's why we've been doing so well with what we do, is there's a name to the face of the content we create. So it's somebody can always come up to us and they feel like they're our friend right away. And because of that, we meet some of the most awesome people. And, every fan or follower that we meet is always somebody we can interact with right away, because they do follow along for the storyline, for the friendship, because they feel like they, get to be a part of our life as they watch the videos. So
I'm going to watch more of them over the weekend, especially now that we got a holiday weekend, so I won't be here. So I'll bring myself up. Most of the time, I honestly don't even see what goes on our social media stuff.
Yeah.
Just because you can imagine how it is just trying to run the company. So,
You live it every day and don't want to watch the replay of it.
well, sometimes it's like even whenever I get home, I'm on the phone from the time that I get home to the time I go to bed. It never stops.
I feel you.
And so yesterday I jumped, after I left here, it was phone call, I think 3 phone calls. And I finally said, okay, to the last phone call, I'm about to walk in this restaurant with my wife and I'll walk. So I need to get off the phone. I need to spend some time with her. So, all right. So, Kyle Collins. How do you spell it?
KYLECULLEN.
All right. So that's where everybody can find you on Facebook, YouTube, and
Instagram.
YouTube, Instagram.
Yep. Oh, you're on Facebook too, though, right?
A little bit. We'll
I looked
grow
at it
up.
earlier. That's where I was mostly studying. I'm very old school, as far as learning my way around social
On
media.
Facebook, and we do put our Instagram is connected to our Facebook, so whatever we post on Instagram goes over to Facebook. But it's not something I have a huge following on. I would say if you just type in Kyle Cullen or KYLECU, by that time my name will already pop up on Instagram or YouTube. Where Facebook, you might have to dig a little bit to find us.
Well, that's perfect. Well, I will do that. And I can tell from talking to you, you're a great representation of our product. And from the videos I watched, we like to align ourselves with people that are professionally carried. And I could see that. Couldn't you too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, thank you, for your time and for backing our product as well. And I hope that we can keep to take care of your needs.
No problem. I appreciate you guys help and support, and excited to see, what else we can kind of work up for our industry. I know the guys that we are friends with that are, way more involved with the bigger builds. Be excited to hear that, you guys are taking some interest into what we're doing, are more interested into what we're doing and wanting to get along with that and build some cool products and really kind of help the rest of the audience that might want to get involved with it feel like it's a little easier to do, than it's not something that's so niche and
specialized to get involved with, because it's pretty awesome knowing that you can hit a button and gain another, in our case, 30 to 50 horsepower with the press of a button. And, that's almost half your horsepower right there you're getting from just pushing a button. So it's pretty epic.
I think I'm going to have to go buy one. I think that's really
that's a great. You didn't think this phone call was going to cost you that kind of money, did you?
Right. But, I think I could really have some fun with that, just to get out of the whole normal grind.
Well, out in Gatesville, they built that new facility for these types of vehicles.
That'd be perfect. So my wife doesn't like four-wheelers.
Well, I think the side by side.
She's a dirt biker,
yeah.
And I don't think she's figured out the whole leaning, because whenever I took her snowmobile and she's like, "This is stupid, I hate it." And it's because a snowmobile you ride like a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And I grew up riding everything, so it was like, I think it has to be on her. Same thing with the dirt bike. She's very particular about how it brakes and how it does this. And she can ride. She can outride me. But she's very particular of how it's got to be done.
Well, I think you get her involved with a side-by-side. There's even some places you can go where you can just rent the side-by-sides now. Obviously, they have them detuned a little bit. They're not as fun as the ones that you can buy, but it's probably a little bit cheaper investment to make sure she likes it before you go buy one. And there's a lot of cool places down in Texas, and within 4 to 5 hours of you, even into New Mexico. And you start getting involved with it, you'll realize how much riding there is down by you.
Yeah, this one is just about 30, 45 minutes west of here, so it's pretty close. And we were kind of talking before the podcast. Next time you make an appearance here in Texas, if you can swing it, come by and see us, and we'll show you around, and maybe if we have some new product in the works, maybe when you're here we can debut it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Maybe we'll do a touch up on this whenever I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about it. Let me ask a question: if you could only have one or the other, four-wheeler or side by side?
That's such a toss up. That is such a toss up. I would probably have to go and say the side by side.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Were you?
No, I thought he'd say four.
I mean, I feel like we do cooler things on the four wheeler, but the side by sides have just some of my best friends I've met from the side by side world. It's just like not even looking at it on the content side, totally just looking on personal. Like I can go take the side by side out with my girlfriend. I can go out with my friends, go do wild, cool stuff. We can just, they're so well versed. It can be chill. It can be crazy. It can be anything in between, anything you want to make it go anywhere you want, meet anybody you want. It's definitely that glue that holds such a good part of our community together. So I think I'd have to go side by side.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to study that.
Yeah.
So
a lot of fun, I tell you.
All right. Well, thanks for making time for us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, excited to talk to you guys soon and catch up with you later.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Appreciate you. Later.